You are 42. You are sitting in your car outside a house you almost bought once, in a city you almost moved to once, for a job you almost took once. You did not take it. Tonight, you are not thinking about the job. You are thinking about the version of you who did. He exists somewhere, not literally, but in every way that matters to your brain, he exists. What did his life become? Rewind. You are 27. Tuesday afternoon, a coffee shop across from your office. A recruiter named Priya slides a folder across the table. Inside is an offer. A startup, 3 states away, a director title you have not earned yet, a salary 40% higher than what you make now. She says the words every ambitious 27-year-old wants to hear. Ground floor opportunity, equity, move fast. You read the folder twice, you feel your pulse in your throat, you have 72 hours to decide. You go home. You sit at your kitchen table with a legal pad, the same table where 1,000 small decisions of your life have been made and forgotten. You write 2 columns, stay, go. Under stay, you write safe, known, close to family, slow but steady. Under go, you write risk, unknown, equity, growth. You stare at the page. You do not know it yet, but this page is the last moment your life is a single timeline. After tonight, it splits. Here is what almost nobody tells you about decisions like this one. The psychologist Daniel Gilbert spent years studying something he called affective forecasting, the process of predicting how a future event will make you feel. His research found something uncomfortable. Human beings are consistently bad at this. Not slightly bad, systematically bad. You believe the job will feel like freedom. You believe staying will feel like safety. Neither belief is reliable. Your brain is not a fortune teller. It is a storyteller, and it tells you the story that is easiest to believe tonight. You call your father. He says, take the job, you're young, what do you have to lose? You call your best friend. She says, don't be stupid, you have something good here, don't blow it up for a maybe. Everyone around you is confident, nobody around you actually knows. 72 hours ends at 9 a.m. on Friday. You call Priya, you say yes. Timeline 1. You move. The city is loud in a way your hometown never was. The apartment is smaller and costs more. The first 3 months are a fog of new logins, new faces, new expectations you cannot yet name. You are good at your job, but good is not the same as belonging. And belonging takes time. Nobody warned you would need to spend alone. Month 6, the equity conversation happens again. Except now, it comes with a catch. The vesting schedule is 4 years. You are aware, for the first time, that you have traded something liquid for something that might be worth nothing. Month 9, a coworker named Marcus, who joined 2 years before you did, tells you the last round diluted early equity by 30%. You do the math on your own stake. It is smaller than the number you left your old job for. Month 14, the company misses a funding round. Layoffs. You survive them, but half your team does not. The director title arrives 18 months late and with fewer people to direct than the offer implied. You are making more money than you did in your old life. You are also, on a Tuesday night, eating dinner alone in an apartment you chose because it was 12 minutes from an office you are not sure will exist in a year. Here is the twist almost nobody sees coming. You are not unhappy. You are something stranger. You are proud and exhausted at the same time. The economist and psychologist duo Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky, whose work on decision-making under uncertainty reshaped an entire field, found that people do not evaluate outcomes in isolation. They evaluate them against a reference point, against what they expected, against what they gave up. You did not fail. You simply discovered that risk rarely pays out the way the folder on the table promised. Timeline 2, you say no, you stay. The first year feels almost embarrassingly ordinary. You get a modest raise instead of a dramatic one. You keep your apartment, your gym, your Sunday dinners with your parents. Priya calls once more, 6 months later, to see if you changed your mind. You say no again, and this time it is easier. Year 2, your company promotes you into a role you did not chase, one that opened simply because you stayed long enough to be trusted with it. It is not glamorous. It is not a folder slid across a table. It is a slow accumulation of being known, being reliable, being the person people go to because you were still there when they needed you. Year 3. Something happens that the version of you in timeline 1 does not get to experience. Your mother gets sick. Not seriously, but enough to need help for a few months. Because you stayed, you are 20 minutes away, you drive her to appointments. You are there on the ordinary Tuesday afternoons that never make it into anyone's highlight reel, but that quietly become the architecture of a life. In timeline 1, you find out about this over a phone call 3 states away, unable to do anything but ask how she's feeling and mean it. Here is where it gets complicated, because staying is not automatically the right answer either. The psychologist Thomas Gilovich spent decades studying regret and found a pattern that surprises most people the first time they hear it. In the short term, people regret their actions more than their inactions. But over the long run, the pattern flips entirely. It is the things we did not do, the risks we did not take, that we carry longest. Somewhere in year 4, on a quiet Sunday, you wonder what would have happened if you'd said yes. You will never stop wondering entirely. That is the cost of timeline 2, paid quietly, in a currency called what if. So which life is better? That question is the wrong question, and here is why. The psychologist Barry Schwartz, who studied what he called the paradox of choice, found that more options do not create more satisfaction. They create more comparison, and comparison is the thief that steals contentment from both timelines equally. Timeline 1 has money and mobility and a story people admire at parties. Timeline 2 has roots and stability and a mother who was not alone when she needed you. Neither timeline is missing something the other one solved. Both timelines are missing something the other one has. That is not a flaw in the decision. That is the nature of every fork in every road anyone has ever stood at. Here is what nobody puts in the folder. Priya slid across the table. There was never a version of your life without a cost. The job would have cost you nearness. The staying cost you certainty about what could have been. You were never choosing between a good path and a bad path. You were choosing between 2 different griefs and picking which one you were willing to carry. You are 42 again, in the car, outside the house you almost bought. Somewhere, in a way that only matters inside your own mind, another version of you is living the other math. He is not happier than you. He is not sadder. He simply paid a different price for a different life on a Tuesday, over a folder, 72 hours, that felt, at the time, like the only thing that mattered in the world. You start the car. You do not know which fork you are closer to right now, tonight, in your own life. Maybe there is a folder waiting for you somewhere, a version of Priya sliding it across a different table. Maybe you already said no to it without noticing. Either way, somewhere tonight, a version of you is deciding. The question was never, what should you do? The question was, and always is, which grief are you willing to live with? You already know the answer. You just have not written it on the legal pad yet.